Okay, well, hello again, everyone, and welcome once more to the unofficial Shadow Podcast or Shadow Pod. I'm Emily, and I play Keket, a cultist of the rat, a ritualist of shadow, a general no-goodin up to schemes and fun things. And we got an exciting interview for you today.
We do. I like no goodin. I like that added to her title. That's a good one. And hello, I'm Allison. I play Hejda Marzana. She is an undead lich. She's a diplomat. She is going to be very much more involved with magic this year, but has historically been a spellcaster of the osteomancy variety, or like bone augury. Fun stuff there. But we would like to introduce our lovely guest. Who's our guest?
Hi, I'm Muck, and I play Sean. No, my name's Sean Byron. I play Muck at Drachenfest. Muck is a filth wizard and a lowly cultist of the Cult of 1,000 Ends. Spellcaster, crafter.
We love Muck. We love Muck dearly. Muck has just taken over as the personality now, as does his accent. You've given us a little bit of a primer about Muck and also the Cult of 1,000 Ends, but tell us a little bit about Muck and how you arrived at him, and also maybe a bit about the cult itself too.
Sure. I decided on the name before the character.
So the name informed the character.
Exactly. Yeah. We were talking about, it was part of the conversation that, all right, let me back up a second here. I LARP with a group of people. We used to go to Beakeline every year. And last year was our first year at Drachenfest, and obviously we're coming back this year. When we were coming to Drachenfest last year, we were discussing camps and things like that, and whether or not we would have like a cohesive group or theme, which we didn't end up doing, which is the Cult of 1,000 Ends. And people were starting to throw out like pretty typical fantasy names. And I don't know, the one word name just kind of came to me and shaped itself into a groveling, lowly, cowardly wizard.
And intrinsically one of our camp's favorite characters. I think everybody's adopted Muck at this point.
Yeah. And won all our hearts.
It is the opposite of the character that I've played for years and the characters that I typically play. Normally, I am covered in metal, frontline fighter. I usually don't do, and sometimes I do like an Irish accent, but usually it's just sort of like projecting a normal voice well. So I really tried to step outside that comfort zone and play an opposite character, and I think I did pretty good with that.
You sure did.
So, you did.
Yeah. What else did you ask me? The Cult of 1,000 Ends. So we have actually expanded past the original LARP group at this point by maybe 7 people now.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not sure of the total number of members at the moment. I'd have to go through and count. But the shtick is sort of, if you would belong to a cult, but you don't have a cult, you can come be a part of our cult. And the thing that ties us all together is that our cult leader can be your cult leader. Whatever you need him to be, he's that. As long as he's in charge of you. That's Divot. My friend Sky plays Divot. And all of us have seen the world end at Divot's hands, or because of Divot, or in spite of Divot, or whatever at some point.
I love that. And Divot's just kind of a regular guy, too.
Yeah, he denies that he has any supernatural powers and begs not to be worshipped, or begs that his name is not used in our nefarious deeds. But we ignore that. We haven't figured out quite what he's trying to say yet,
Yeah,
it's such a good
truth. The truth of Divot is the 1,000 Ends. Yes. So, I mean, obviously, you came with a group, and you guys were discussing if you'd have a coherent theme or whatnot. So, what drew you as an individual and your group to Shadow Camp? Why did you first join Shadow last year?
So some people might disagree with me. We'll have to hear, the feedback. But
look, they're not being interviewed. It's your truth.
Yeah.
we put out like a little poll, and you could vote twice. So everybody voted twice for camps, and that poll resulted in us all joining Blue Camp.
Okay.
So we got on a call, and I said, "Hey, I get it. I'm not here to trash talk Blue Camp, but the partying aspect is fun. I want to make sure that we're all deciding based on the game we like to play, and not necessarily because we want to go into a camp that we think can catch us all. Because I know that
That's
we can
fair.
find our spot in camps, regardless of what camp we end up in." And then I made a 10-minute pitch for Shadow, and whatever happened, it was persuasive enough that we ended up coming over, all of us, in an almost unanimous agreement.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we have you to thank for that, because truly, I think the cult has been such a welcome addition to the entire camp. Like, y'all bring such a good energy and good gameplay, and are just so welcoming to the entire player base, like new players and veteran players. Like, because I would agree with your pitch. I think y'all found your footing so well.
Mm-hmm.
It helps to come whatever we were last year, 12 people, because I think when you come with that many people, you can pretty much say whatever you want, and there's enough people to back you up that people will be like, "Oh, well, it must be true. I heard 4 people say that he was right."
Yep. I came with a big group when I first came. My group has dwindled down just as real life things have stopped people from being able to come back. But the power of the big group is impressive. It's not the only way to do things, but it's certainly fun.
Certainly not. I had the opposite experience. I came completely as a solo camper my first year, knew nobody, came with no group. But I would say the big groups for that experience are really nice too, because you get adopted if you're the person in my position.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, I think we fought over you, Allison.
You did. Which I appreciate.
I think that's also a great way to go. So the first year that we went to Beakeline, there was 3 of us. Me, Sky, and Casey, who play Divot and Quirk. And Biko's big and speaks French, which, we probably had 12 words between the 3 of us. So we showed up there, and it was, it was definitely intimidating, but we weren't solo, but we might as well have been. You step away from the other 2 for a second, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll find them at the tent later on. But we did a similar thing up there. We found a guild that we got ourselves into, threw on some loner tabards, and then that guild leader actually started getting approached by people, and they were like, "Wow, you guys really did a lot of recruiting this year, huh? We keep seeing faces we don't recognize everywhere." And she was like, "Those are only 3 people. What are you talking about?"
They're just getting around.
So that's what we tend to do. We tend to.
So what I hear is you're good at making cults. You're good at finding your leader and making your cult and spreading the word. Yep.
It's perfect. All right, so we have a little bit of an idea of why y'all first joined Shadow. And like I said, they're not being interviewed, so what you've just told us is exactly what happened. Why'd y'all decide to stay? Okay,
we have limited space on Woodchuck Hill, so take this with a grain of salt. But once you do Shadow for a year, you have to stay. It's by far the best camp. There's no real competition. No, I think seriously, though, that obviously only having experienced Shadow at this event, but having been a part of several different groups and organizations at other LARPs, Shadow makes a real effort and has a real sense of community, and I don't know exactly how to say it, but it's not just obviously we have sub factions in different parts of the game going on, but it's not just like a collection of groups. It really is like one full solid camp. And I think that from what I've heard from other players, that's something that can be a struggle. But I mean, some people were just talking about this in the Discord the other day. They happen to belong to the other camps' Discords as well. And there's a little bit of chatter here and there. Then it builds up before the event. But I mean, as you guys know, Shadow Camp, there's more messages every day than I can read, and people really keep in touch and keep planning and keep talking about things. And people tend to like each other, which I think is rarer than it could be in LARPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment.
Yes, and the Shadow Camp Discord, I find it overwhelming at times, and I sometimes take days to find a message someone sent me and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Yes, here.
People are just doing it they're so excited and so enthusiastic about it. Yeah, absolutely can be hard to keep up with, especially with a 9 to 5 or other stuff going on in your real life. That people are just. It's really nice to see everybody be really excited about stuff all the time.
Yeah. So, okay, we know why you stayed in Shadow. But what is your favorite part of the camp experience? And this can be the camps in general as opposed to the bazaar, or literally camping as opposed to something else. It can be actually the camping or just the camp experience of Shadow. What's your favorite part of the camp experience?
Sure. Despite the fact that I have been improving my camping setup over the years, I'll just talk about last year. Despite the fact that I had a big canvas tent, I made rope bunk beds so that they would be, I guess period appropriate doesn't count in fantasy, but you know what I mean.
Legit. You made legit things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, legit things. I like to make stuff so it tends to sort of blossom into as much of the experience as I can, being prepared for and built out. And last year, including build team that I came for before the event, I slept on the ground, I think 7 nights. That is actually, it sounds counterintuitive, my favorite part. You're outside, it's hot, it's buggy, you're sleeping on the ground. You're not legitimately, I wasn't inside for a week, I don't know. For me, that's part of it. That's part of the whole thing. As immersive as I can get.
Yeah, you fully embraced it. With all of your being, you fully embraced the immersion.
No, I agree. The immersive element of LARP and just you put the phone away, you are just in this space. For me, that's one of the big elements of the magic of it is
Absolutely.
I can make the rest of the world go away and this becomes my world. Yeah.
For Shadow specifically, I touched on this a minute ago. I tend to be all over the place. So last year, I didn't end up spending the majority of my time in camp. I'm hoping to spend a little bit more this year, but I'm not afraid of the walk. So I would go and do stuff, and then I would try to come back to camp and either hook up with people from my group or see what was going on. And the thing that I liked was that every time I walked into camp, something was happening.
Yeah.
And it was usually something that I could walk right into, and it wasn't like, hey, go away, we're doing a scene or something like that. I would walk in and I wouldn't necessarily, kick the door down and try to take the spotlight, but I could be involved, whether it was a ritual or someone. I came back and someone was fiddling with the ritual table and setting up props. And then I had a 45-minute conversation about a set of spell books that they had made and all this type of thing. It's just really cool.
Yeah, you can really interject yourself pretty much anywhere in camp, and I think people beyond just allowing that to happen or encouraging that to happen at all times. They want you to get involved.
Absolutely.
Love that. Okay, so keeping us on the Shadow specific theme, do you have a favorite quirky Shadow moment, an intrinsically Shadow moment from last year that you experienced?
Let me think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Try to push all the memories of the storm tearing camp apart to the sky.
Shelf those, compartmentalize them with the heat.
Community moment, but not necessarily a Shadow moment. I don't even remember what night it was, but there was one night that I spent, probably 11:45 to 3 a.m. in Shadow Camp. Everyone was in the Twilight Lounge, which, for those of you who don't know, it's not our bar this year.
Correct. Not our bar this year, but correct. It was. It's hopefully an ongoing enterprise that we have. Yes.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like a bohemian lounge area with cushions and pillows and low seating and stuff. And everyone was just sort of draped out, and it was just really cool, like different conversations happening sort of like over each other, and people coming in and out, and there was like food and drinks, and that was the most shadow moment that I experienced, because on one side people were talking about like philosophy, and on the other side people were talking about like how to harness ghosts to fuel their spells, and I was like, perfect, all of me in one tent.
Yep.
I love that. Yeah,
A good spectrum of a shadow, from our goth Muppet side to our high vampire, maybe,
Yes.
right? Like
From our most logical and grounded to our most whimsical and fantasy.
Yeah, and a good mix in between. Yeah, I love that Twilight Lounge. And like all of our enterprises are sort of designed to do this. I know a lot of people are pushing to have that happen in more spaces this year too. We've had a lot of people talk about Twilight Lounge. They're on hiatus this year, but like we're hoping they will be back. And I like that they created this sort of nice space for people to have those moments and to have this like, you know, these role play moments, and also just sort of half in, half out of character, people waxing poetic about all the things that make their characters what their characters are. That's really neat.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know that we have some other enterprises starting this year that are trying to give more of that community space, like
Absolutely.
Gathering for Magic, the Temple for Religion, and I think Reggie's making a gaming hall.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna have a gaming hall.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Shadow's got a lot going on this year, so hopefully people stop by and check us out.
Yeah.
So there's something that people may not realize with how you've introduced Muck, but Muck was actually on quite a quest of the heart this last year. In fact, this is kind of how I first learned about Muck and what you were up to. Can you tell us a bit about your romance with the Limbus creature?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, Sean is married. His wife is in the next room. So as she overhears this, it's all fantasy. No, just kidding around. But yeah, so as I've alluded, what I like to try to do is just get involved in things. I went in last year with somewhat of a plan, only that I was going to try and be a part of the Mages Guild, and Shadow Camp, you know. But beyond that, I didn't try to like set anything in stone. I think that that's a trap that you could fall into a lot.
Absolutely.
You hear about a lot of cool stuff, and then you try to build out a schedule. Essentially, we're all on vacation. This is like the only vacation that I take in the year is for a LARP event in the summer. So I, try not to do that. Instead, I try to let the natural situations that always seem to pop up happen. So I was going up that far side of Cardiac Hill past Limbus for reasons I won't get into. At that time, Muck had the ability to interact with the dead. It had been a long day. So I was walking past, and in the gates of Limbus, there was a ghostly creature who started like trying to like wave their hands and like catch my attention. And I was honestly a little confused as a player that maybe like they were actually trying to get my attention and something was going on. Now I think it was probably just like, purely just like a role play mystery of Limbus moment. But they beckoned me over. I walked over and I started interacting, and I, in character, let them know like, hey, I can see you. So this can be a real interaction. If there's something that you're trying to tell me, I can see and hear you right now. So it's a great time. They gestured to the fact that they were wearing a mask with no mouth. So I talked and they gestured, and essentially there was a little bit of flirting, which is hard without talking, I guess, but it, went down. So yeah, I thought this is kind of a cool plot thread. I'll try to run with this. So I went back to the Mages Guild and I sort of burst in, and there wasn't a lot going on, but a lot of the Mages Guild staff was in there. And so I burst in and I proclaimed that I had a heartfelt moment, and that I was trying to pursue a date and needed advice and needed help. And everyone was sort of like, laughing along like it was fun or whatever. And somebody was like, "Who is this girl?" And I said, "It was a ghost in Limbus." And then like everybody put everything down and came over and was like, "What are you talking about?" So yeah, with the help of the Mages Guild, this was not my plan at all, but mages are always up to something.
Yeah.
So I had a prop that I had made, a wooden heart. They removed my heart and made me able to weekly be alive with it outside of my body. And then I went back and I was planning to give it to that ghost who was not there. So I gave it to a much, much meaner ghost who was there. I was like, Muck is not naive, but in matters of the heart, he is, not
He's
well.
He's a sweet boy. He's a sweet boy.
Sweet little innocent flower. Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to give her my heart, thought it would be kind of a good gesture before we even went on a first date. And they were like, "Perfect. Yeah, give us the heart." And I was like, "You're going to give it to her, right?" And they were like, "Sure, sure." So I handed it over, and then they started thumping on it. And so I had a few people with me or whatever. So I started, throwing myself on the ground and gasping and things like that. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's the status. My heart is in Limbus. I am still alive. And hopefully I can get it back this year or something. I don't know.
Oh my God, what a cliffhanger.
Maybe you'll get a date this year.
Yes.
We need a date for Muck.
Part of the point is I could have just, like, the first suggestion was that we'll just kill you and then you can go on your date. But of course, I wouldn't remember. And that's crucial for a second date.
Right.
Yes.
So
they made a whole movie about that, 50 First Dates. You got to remember for the second date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what I based my. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's an interesting plot thread. I've been in contact with some of the Limbus staff, during the year here, just to see what was going on, and I'm very excited.
Same here. I'm so excited to see where the saga goes.
Yeah. These are the kinds of things that just happen when you wander around Drachenfest. So
Shadow Camp is just apparently making a name for itself with romance, right? We've married skeletons. Now Muck's romancing a Limbus creature.
The goths love romance.
We're romantics at heart.
Staying on that train,
some kind of creature or undead or something.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, we have standards. That's what it is.
Yeah, no vanilla romance.
Yeah. Staying on that train though, Sean. So our last question for you, we have a unique one for you, but still along the same vein. If the shadow avatar was to romance someone, what do you think their opening gambit would be?
Okay. Yeah, I think that they wouldn't do this with the intent of acting like, like a freshman or sophomore in high school. But I do think that their first move would be like to send minions to like just kind of go and be around.
I know where this is.
Talk to the love interest's friends and float the idea and sort of start seeding it. I think that it would be very subterfuge and not head on at all. And then I think that would be the move, to just sort of do the classic shadow avatar thing of just sort of like being still and brooding off on the side while people ran around and were like, wouldn't it be crazy? Like, oh, what did she think of him? I think he's handsome,
Make them think it was their idea all along, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, not
Probably
too forward.
But definitely what he would do.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep, that's great.
It feels very on brand. That's so funny. Well, we're so excited to see what Mike gets up to with all of his shenanigans, like including most importantly, but not exclusively the date, but I'm just so looking forward to see what happens with the date. And also wanted to give honorable mention to the fact that a few people that have been on the podcast previously have mentioned Gnome Night, which I know you were a huge proponent. You're a big component of Gnome Night. Wanted to shout that out, that you were like one of the inceptors of that happened at camp. That's been a lot of people's favorite nights.
Yep. So I'm involved, but got to give props to the great Dark Lord Divot.
Yep.
Okay.
Sky was the first or the first creator or whatever. And we have some stuff in common, including the fact that like when we get our teeth on an idea, we like to go all out. So we started it at Beacoline, and we started bringing a few hats, and then the next year it was like 400 hats, and then it just sort of rolled out of control, and it really can take over a night, and so it's a great thing. I think what kicked it off this year was the co-ritual leaders had asked me to write a certain spell that they just wanted the spell to include a line because they wanted to hear me say it in my character voice. But I sort of wrote it as like an irresistible dance type of spell. And unbeknownst to them, as I got up on a picnic table and started screaming my spell into the night, the rest of the cult had put hats on and was getting ready. So when we kicked off the dance, they like swarmed out and started dancing around and screaming and cajoling. And then, more hats came out. And all I can say is that there are many, many, many yards of felt upstairs right now. And so you can look forward to more gnomes this year.
Yay! So happy to hear that. It was such a good time.
That's exciting. That's how life should be. Just break out dance parties just every night. That's
just because.
In my perfect world. In my perfect world, there are dance breaks all the time.
It's perfect.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and we'll see you soon. Yeah, in a month.
Very soon. Everyone starts scrambling now.
I know. All of us collectively panic.
Yeah.